Are you squeaking? Little squeaky ball. You're making so many squeaky noises.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry I've been a bit absent and that this is being posted late. The reason why there is no May TBR and there isn't going to be a May TBR is because lovely Cadence has joined us. So Cadence was always referred to as Dragon in my previous videos because we didn't know if she was going to be a boy or girl. And yes, Jersey's here trying to be part of this video too, but he's a little bit too short to be in the video. You may just see like the tip of his ear or something. So that's why there is no May TBR, because I will just be doing a mood read as Heather and I adjust to having an addition to our family. So as for my April wrap up,
Yeah, it's funny.
let's just say I did not complete my owls, and therefore I will definitely not be doing mutes this year.
No noties. Newty.
And I'm completely okay with that because I have the lovely Cadence now as part of our lives. So I'm going to do these in the order I read them, which is not the order I've stacked the books, but oh well.
Just do them in order they're stacked.
That's alright, I know what, it's not, there's 4 books stacked, so it's not like it's going to be hard. The first book I read was Sanctuary by Judy Nunn, and this was the absolute worst time to have read this book. I gave it 2 stars purely because of the timing. If I'd read it maybe in a couple of years or when I'd first gotten it, it wouldn't have had such an impact. But I am going to give content warnings for infant death, war themes, and sexual assault. And I think you can understand which of the warnings I kind of went, this was the wrong time for me to read it. Unfortunately, it happened quite late in the book and I was already really invested in it when I came across it, and I'm like, oh, and I still finished it. So that's the only reason it got 2 stars, is just purely because it was the wrong time in my life to read this book. So that's why it's got those warnings. It really did affect me. You're having fun talking to Katie?
She's smiling.
She's still fast asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had my reread.
We get to keep you forever and ever.
Was Magician's Gambit, which is the 3rd in the Belgariad series by David Eddings. So this is just continuing on with the storyline, and because I read it so early in the month, I've kind of got a mental blank of where in the storyline it happens. It is mainly told from the point of view of Shinidra, which is a princess who has joined the group without realizing exactly what that would entail for her. And it's an enjoyable story, but of course it's the 3rd in the series, so if you haven't read the first 2, definitely go and read them first.
What's the first?
The first one is Pawn of Prophecy, and they're the Belgariad series. Then I read The Ancient Future Book 1, The Dark Age. This one is by Traci Harding. This one is a kind of time travel-esque. Well, no, there is like time travel involved. I believe it's Welsh origins.
I don't know. I picked it up in the Elizabeth challenge.
Thoroughly enjoyable. It's definitely sci-fi fantasy crossover because there's of course magic elements, but there's also the time travel and technological elements of a sci-fi. So that made this thoroughly enjoyable. I'm not usually a huge sci-fi person, but when they're combined, I do enjoy them more. I will definitely be continuing on with the series, and the point that I've got book 2, An Echo in Time, reserved from the library, which I can't wait to get to.
Pardon me. You only managed 4 books?
No, 5, because I've got the ebook. Then, of course, I also continued on with the other series I'm going through at the moment, which is The Sorceress by Michael Scott. I'm reading these purely because I'm invested in the series. This one I gave 3 stars to. Oh, sorry. The Ancient Future was a 5-star book. I enjoyed the first book in this series so much so that I read the second, but from there it kind of the plotline seems to be very dragged out. While things are happening, they don't seem consequential, or it's like, let's push them to the verge of failing and then miraculously somehow it all fixes itself. But only enough so that there's a reason for the next book. That's how this is starting to feel to me, which is why it's getting 3 stars. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish the series, but I'm definitely going to read the next book purely because I own it. Yeah, the Necromancer, it's up there. So I'm not sure if after the Necromancer I'll go, nope, I've had enough, or if I will continue after that. We'll see how I feel after reading that one. Then the final book I read was a Demelza Carlton medieval romance retelling of Hansel and Gretel, which was returned. Now, the important thing about reading Return is you have to read below the 3 Little Pigs Retold first.
Now you tell me.
I only figured that out afterwards.
Now you tell me.
A lot of the stories you do have to kind of read in order because they do interconnect with one another. And then it's easier to follow through and go, okay, I remember this character from this story type thing. Because it is a series. Heather decided to try and read Return without reading any of the others and got a bit lost.
It's much like your beginning. Well, you told me there were companion books. Companion books don't need to be read interconnected.
They do if they share the same characters.
Well, I didn't know that.
That's what a companion story is. It shares themes or connections.
But no, the companion series we have also by Sasha Wadsley has actually been said you can read them out of order. Sasha has said you can read them as on their own and out of order.
Okay. But most of the companion series I've heard of, you do need to read them in order. Either you get spoiled as to what happens.
It's like Sean McGuire. The only one they recommend you read first is Every Heart a Doorway, and then you can go through and read them in whatever order you want to.
Because they're not as interconnected. They're interconnected to that first story, but the others are standalones to that. So, yes, this is our lovely little dragon. May I have her, please? Heather?
You can get it. If you wake her up, I'm going to be cranky as all poop.
Well, she's due to wake up soon anyway for dinner. So yes, this is our lovely little dragon, Miss Cadence. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Are you going to do the feel-good-a-thon?
I